What's up, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at, for some reason, the most hated TF1 Transformers Deluxe class figure, which is Starscream. But before we get into the figure, we're going to take a look at the packaging. So here we have a picture of Starscream in there, and of course this is these newer boxes for Studio Series. So we got the movie logo down there. These boxes always get really dusty when I get them in. On top, chat movie logo, name of the character. On this side, it's just the same image, it's just kind of wrapping around. And then on this side, just got another image of Starscream. So this one looks like a mirrored image. It's really weird. But on the back, you got picture of Starscream from the movie at the top there. And then here you got a picture of the figure itself, which just those obligatory product images that usually are very kind of just not really accurate, but yep, pretty much it for the box. Nothing crazy, nothing too special. We don't get the cool bat drops in these things anymore, so that's it for the packaging. Now that we've gotten over the packaging, let's take a look at the figure's details. And to be honest, he's quite the nice little deluxe class figure. I don't know why he gets so much hate. I know a lot of it has to do with the fact that he doesn't have a waist joint and he doesn't have ankle, pivot and everything, but he came out in a wave where there were other figures in that wave that were kind of taking up the budget. And to be honest, a lot of the budget did go to the transformation on this particular figure, as to which the transformation is really good. So I honestly just don't know what all the hate is, because I think this is a really good looking figure. He does have his own little issues and everything, but overall he's a great looking little figure. As far as details go, got some really nice detail work and sculpt work going on, especially with the legs here. There's a little bit of a hollow gap there, which does suck, but what can you do? He also doesn't have any wrist swivels, which does suck, but I feel like his transformation more than makes up for it. And you got a lot of really nice sculpt work on the chest and everything, and detailing all around. It's a nice looking Starscream figure. Even the wings are, a little detailed and everything. Not a fan of these like weird looking wings, but it is the design from the movie. Got some more sculpt work going on in the back, and these back pieces kind of make up the little fin things that Starscream tends to have, at least the G1 style design. Then you got, of course, the head sculpt, which is a little bit strange looking. I'll admit, I'm not the biggest fan of those weird lips. But as you can see, I already started to kind of customize him with the white dots for the eyes, but we will be customizing him here shortly. Just wanted to take a quick look at his details first before we paint him up. But yeah, uh, pretty nice looking Starscream figure. I don't really personally have any complaints with it. I'm pretty happy with it myself, but I know he can definitely look a lot better. So without further ado, let's give him a fresh new paint job. And here he is, all nicely repainted and looking a whole lot better. Now, there were some things on this figure that were a bit complicated while painting, but this is my first time doing metallic paints and everything, and I love how my light just did that. Anyway, this is my first time doing metallic paints and everything, so it was a bit of an experience. Just talking about straight up what I basically repainted and redid is I repaint all his blue sections with a more metallic-y kind of blue to match the movie look and everything. So, and there's like other spots too that have been painted. A lot of the tan sections, or like the weird cream color, has been painted silver, like how it is in the movie. There are some areas I could not paint, like certain hinges and stuff like that, that ended up being left unpainted, and especially the hinge on the wings there, and a couple little things on the back. So he does look a little bit ugly with certain sections and areas, especially also on the inside of the legs, because a lot of the times those, especially for this figure, a lot of those sections weren't going to be really all that seen. But I mainly did all the areas that were going to be seen. So the red has been changed. Um, and it looks a lot better actually. A lot more metallic and everything. I'm actually quite happy with a lot of the colors that came out here, with the metallics and everything. Especially with the blue. I think the blue came out pretty well. The red, here and there, it's all right. I did my best to try and make him as accurate as possible to the movie. It is kind of hard to tell with certain things because there's not really a whole lot of images that I could really go off of. But I think for how he came out, he looks pretty dang movie accurate, and I really wish that my camera would just focus on things already. But anyway, that is pretty much it as far as the details go. So that we've taken a look at the figure's details, let's go over the accessories, which it really does not come with a lot. So for accessories, he does come with this kind of like little gun thing, which is a little bit goofy looking. Then he does come with his two null rays, which I didn't paint those. But bringing in the figure here, and come on, all right. Bring in the figure here. To attach these with the null rays, you just kind of put them in the shoulders. You can put them anywhere you want, but they mainly go in these shoulders here, so those just go in right there. And then for this gun, as you know, it doesn't have a handle. That's because he has another accessory, which is just this back piece. So what they pretty much want you to do is take this back piece off. So you can count this as an accessory, but really it's just part of the actual figure. So you do this, and I believe what you do is take it and you put it somewhere. I think you put it on like that, and then it just kind of goes on like that, and then you have him hold it. It's it's yeah, this is really weird. I don't really like that at all. Uh, so yeah, I kind of don't really do that. And as you notice, I didn't paint that gun up because I probably won't really ever have him holding it. Because this piece I like keeping on the actual figure because it is part of his jet mode. So I just keep that on there. Technically, you can just use that tab to peg it in the hand, but it's just a really weird gun, and I really don't like that accessory. It kind of sucks. It just looks like a Nerf gun. It's honestly just kind of ridiculous, but yeah, that is pretty much it for the accessories. So, besides having some kind of mid to lackluster accessories, how well does he articulate? So, getting into the articulation, his head is on a ball joint, so you can look down pretty much about that far. You can look up pretty much all the way if you untab it by accident, like I just did, but he looks up about that far. It does have some side to side. You can do a full 360 on it, no problem. As far as the arms, they do go up about that far. They go all the way around. If you get the wings out of the way, you can make the arms go pretty much all the way around. They are just on a ball joint. There is a kind of elbow swivel. He does have a single jointed elbow, but it does go pretty far. Nothing at the wrists at all. The wings do kind of move a little bit too, if you wanted to move those. Nothing at the waist. It does kick out uh, pretty far. Back, decent little bit. Does have a thigh swivel. He can kick to the side like that. And he does have a pretty deep bend at the knee. And then as for the foot, it can go down like that if you want to, but there's really not much at the foot. And that is honestly pretty much it for articulation. He's not too crazy articulated. I understand some people have an issue with him not having a waist joint in, ankle, pivot, and everything. And I do understand some of that frustration, but honestly, you know, I'm not really complaining because I think his transformation is pretty good, and honestly, I think this is a good figure. But yeah, I mean, with that being said, let's get into some size comparisons before we get into the transformation. So I'm only going to do a small handful of size comparisons. So here he is next to my TF1 custom Megatron, which I'll be doing reviews on both Megatron and Optimus sometime down the road this year. Uh, Nothing too soon though, as of right now, but they will get a video done down the road sometime. So there he is next to good old Megatron right there. Because I don't really own a whole lot of the TF1 stuff. I'm only getting some key characters. Then here he is next to my custom Optimus, as to which I'll be doing a video of him along with Megatron because they have an upgrade kit. And then, for the hell of it, here he is next to the Bumblebee movie, Starscream, as to which I feel like these two are connected. Um, there's a lot of similarities between the Bumblebee movie and uh, Transformers 1, so I feel like there's definitely some connections there. But without further ado, that is pretty much it for some of the things such as you know the basics on the figure. Now it's time we get to the transformation. So before we get into transformation, I am going to take off the null rays because technically you can keep them on. I'm just choosing not to. But without further ado, let's get into it. And there he is in vehicle mode. And my bad for that being kind of a janky transformation segment. He was kind of fighting with me. So, getting into the details of the vehicle mode. It's a nice little jet. I like it. This transformation does get a little bit claustrophobic in a lot of areas, especially the underneath section and some portions of the wings. But it's really nice how everything just kind of folds out and forms this nice little jet. And I did, paint up the cockpit area too as well, and some of the wing sections and everything too. And he looks really really great. I really do love how the feet fold up in the back. I think that's very nicely done and very clean. I also really do like the way the cockpit folds out and everything, and how the head just like tucks in underneath this big top section. It has a very interesting transformation that I really, honestly, really do love, and it is a nice looking figure. Now you can have it with the straight wings like this if you want. I personally like it with the straight wings. Or you can do a more, if it wants to cooperate with me, you can do, if it wants to do it, come on. I don't think it's going to want to do it. But you could, if, you know what, it's not going to do it for me, but you can like angle the wings down a little bit more. I don't know why it's not really working for me. It might just because of the paint job I gave it. So that's probably why it's just very stiff and not working. But you can definitely like angle the wings down too as well. If you want a more angled wing look, I just go for the straight wing look just because, just feels more jet-like. But honestly, it's a really amazing looking vehicle mode with lots of nice details and everything. Too, on top of that, that piece likes to come undone. But it is very nice looking, plus the gun on the bottom here really reminds me of Bumblebee movie Starscream. Hence why I really honestly think this is Bumblebee movie Starscream, just in the animated form, but that's a whole theory within itself. But overall, a nice looking little vehicle mode. You do have the legs and arms just kind of underneath, but that's kind of be expected with a Starscream figure or a Seeker mold in general. But I really do like the way this little guy turned out. I think he looks really, really awesome. And finally, getting on to some vehicle mode size comparisons. So there is Starscream in his vehicle mode. And then here he is next to Optimus Prime from TF1 in his vehicle mode there. So you can see how they look next to Prime. And then, of course, here he is next to Megatron from TF1. So you can see with the sizes between them. Almost all the TF1 characters have been pretty much deluxe class scale. But, for the fun of it, here he is next to the Bumblebee movie Starscream. These are both Tetrajet designs that have some similarities between them, which, seems a little bit interesting. I mean, it just kind of furthers more my theory of that the Bumblebee movie universe and the TF1 universe are kind of within the same kind of thing going on. But yeah, so there they are together. And then I did just want to take a minute to mention this one channel with this one guy. I'll just play this video real quick.
I know a lot of people are not going to sub to me because a lot of people hate my channel. No, they do. I ain't worried about that because I put quality in my work and I know what I'm talking about. And when I talk about it, I don't sound goofy talking about it. I can roll off my tongue without a script. Don't need one. I like my videos to look crispy. I like my audio.
So, yeah. So then why I commented on one of that guy's videos talking about this figure, and I don't know. I'm not gonna try, stir up too much drama, but I just kind of find it a little bit funny that he deleted that original video about this Starscream, where all my comments were. Because when I was trying to gather some of my comments for that I had made and everything, and how he reacted to it, and how he was talking about it, and by the way, it was all about the ankle articulation and there being no waist joint. Yeah, he was a bit hostile in those messages, but I find it funny that he deleted the video because I couldn't find the video afterwards. Even though I searched through his entire video list, but to each their own, I guess. But anyway, let's go into a post test. So now we're into the final thoughts. Sorry the pose test was a little bit short. Couldn't find too many poses to put him in. But overall, this figure it's pretty solid. He definitely not having those certain joints to affect it only a little bit, but really not by much. The transformation's pretty great. It's a decent little deluxe. Nothing too crazy. But I do hope you guys enjoy the video, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you. I've heard it 1,000 times before.
was not that funny anymore.